ain't drunk. I'm just drinking. But you're so high. Oh man, you know I ain't high. But you're so high. Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then. But you're so high.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome back. Busy day, busy week, busy month, busy life. Anyway, check this out. I printed J-Bot's head. Anyway, enough of that. So, I'm not sure if this is a build video necessarily. I don't think I have the time for that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to build one of my two favorite configurations right now. My first favorite config is, as we all know, the Mocha Simplex Pro Headhunter. Bam! And the Mocha JJ frame is the same, only smaller. Absolutely love it. Excuse me. Drinking too fast. Anyhow, sorry about that. The other one is, and I hope Mocha's watching. I'm going to send him a text so he does see this, because I want to get together with Mocha and design a Patriot Blades frame. That is my goal. And I've been experimenting. You know, I got 3D printers, so we've been playing with things. And I found a canopy. I built a bird for a friend of mine a while back. And it had this canopy that I absolutely loved. And luckily for me, it was on Thingiverse. And I modified it. Now, here's the original... Hang on a second. Here's the original print of that canopy, okay? And forgive me, I can't remember the fucking name because it's in German, whatever. But I love this canopy, and the reason I love it is it takes a full-size camera, which I don't necessarily love, but the reason I love it is it mounts to any frame that uses a 30-30 stack. It mounts to the stack bolts. It goes underneath and above. I absolutely love it. I've built like 5 birds with this now. So one of the things that I've done is I've modified that canopy to hold a micro. And in order to do that, what I did was I uploaded the original file and I imported a skull. I morphed a skull into the front of it and basically stuck a hole, I call it the Cyclops, that's the size of a Runcam, or I'm sorry, a Foxeer Micro Arrow. And it fits absolutely perfect. So now, and I also cut this off so it mounts the front and the back. And so then I really like the Space One Aurora bottom plate. I don't like the rest of it. And you guys might remember that I did the build with my buddy Twitch in Patriot Blades that was the monster build. And I and I did another one called a zombie. And basically I take the Space One Aurora and I smack it down. I do a slam job on it. And I lower everything, lower the top. But yeah, but I love the lower base of that frame. So I ordered a Space One Aurora 5-inch X. Not the stretch, the normal X. And I got the Triple B, or the 3BR 2207 2650 kV motors. Awesome. And I hydro dipped it in American flag just because I'm me, and that's what we do. But normally, this is the front of the frame here, okay? If you were to build this normally, like a Space One is intended to be. But I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to mount it this way, and that's where we're going to put our strap for our XT60, and then we'll put in a Cicada right there, and we're going to put on our canopy. So basically what I've been doing, no holds barred here. I am experimenting with pieces of other people's designs, and Space One and the guys that made this, and whatever else. And I'm going to work with Mocha and design something that's the Patriot Blades, not JJ RotoGeek necessarily, but just good old-fashioned Patriot Blades bird. So I like a one-piece bottom. I asked the guys in the club, I said, what do you want? Do you want something with removable arms? And of course, people being how they are, it's like, well, half of them wanted one that was removable arms or replaceable arms. The other half were like me, or they like one solid frame. I personally like one solid frame. It's less bullshit. It's like so Mocha and I are going to design a canopy that's not similar to this necessarily, but something that mounts to a 30-30 area probably, and a one-piece frame, if Mocha wants to do that with me. Or maybe we'll make two versions. We'll make a version that has, you know, the straight X, the true X will be a one piece, and the stretched X will be removable arms. I don't know. But this is a reasonably economical build. The canopy I printed myself. The Cicada, which 35 amp ESC, BL Heli S, Omnibus F4, nothing fancy there. This is a Space One frames, I don't know, 40 bucks or whatever it is. And the 3B motors, which I absolutely really like. These motors, I did a review on these motors. That's how much I liked them. And I don't do reviews. You guys know this. Yeah, I just love them. They come with screws that are long enough. They have a shield under here for the under the bell, so the new guys don't put their screws through the fucking windings. They come with 2 sets of nuts per motor, and they're 18 bucks. I'm like, really? I think these are phenomenal fucking motors. What bird did I put these on? It's floating around here somewhere. Oh, the other one. Yeah, the one I just showed you guys. This one. This is actually, you know, the same canopy, but full-size camera. And this is actually a Campfire Quads bottom frame, if I remember right. Is it? Yeah. And same motors. Exact same motors. So I'm duplicating. And then I have another one. It's not really finished yet. It's kind of my poor boy. I did in this one. And, oh, Smoking Hot Wife. Nope. Just a kid. See, that's the problem with living with 3 women. But anyway, here we go. So I'm not going to make this a build video necessarily. This is just kind of a build overview that we're going to do. And pretty basic, pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to mount the canopy. We're going to use a VTX03. The reason I'm doing this build, by the way, is I did that, oh, I already got one of these out. I did that build off with my buddy Twitch, and I built this bird called the Monster. And if you guys remember right, it was the same frame, and it had American flag hydro dip. It wasn't American flag, it was like skulls in the American flag. And it was absolutely, it had the Willys motors on it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was actually a pretty cheap bird, but I sold it to my buddy Patrick in Kentucky. So I'm like, well, okay, fine. So I sold him that and a couple other things, and I'm like, well, I have to build another one because I love it. And I ran out of that dip, so it's straight American flag dip. No big deal. So what we're going to do, I printed this one out. It's going to have a micro cam in it, and we're going to mount this. Basically, all you do is take M3 bolts that are really fucking long. If you've got nylon, that's great. If you got metal, that's great. But we're going to use really long nylon bolts. We're going to shove them through there. We'll cut them to length. So the canopy is going to go on like this, then this, then an XM, you know, Taranis receiver, and we're going to slap in the VTX03. And since this is technically a racing frame, we're going to not use a far view. Sorry, guys. I love you. But we're just going to keep the same old dipole on there just to save weight. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and whip this up real quick. You know, bits and bobs and pieces here and there, and then I'll come back and show you guys what I did. I've done enough build videos of common birds. You're not going to learn anything by watching this. So, be right back. Bam. Bam, and we're back. So, like I said, not a build video, more of a check this out. We went ahead and, I always say we, like I have a split personality or some shit. I went ahead and soldered all of the points, the motors, to the ESC. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up our VTX system. So, what I'm going to do with this, you guys have seen me do this a bazillion times probably. That's why this isn't a build video. It's like, it's fucking boring. I mean, it's like you see one build video, you've seen them all. Well, that's not true. Unless it's Bardwell. I think Bardwell needs to come to Camp JJ and learn how to do a build. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. So what we're going to do is we are going to double-sided tape this to the back of the camera, eventually. And we're going to wire this in. This is a VTX03. Bam, nothing but a peanut. Pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we just took a piece of double-sided tape. My smoking hot wife just made me cut my fucking nails. Now I can't get any of my tape off. See, you know, I guess it's worth it. She's pretty awesome. So, okay. Shit. Look at that. All right. So what I do with this is I peel it halfway back, and then I put it on the VTX. Always fold it in half so you get a little bit of heat insulation there. This is going to... I did this a little differently than I normally do. This is going to our camera. So there's our video in, positive and negative, and then this is going to be going to our... oh, I'm sorry. I got that backwards. Yeah. So we're going to have to wire this in to our... Woo, totally fucking missed that. So that's going to our camera. This is going to be our video out right here. Positive 5 volts, negative 5 volts. Okay, I'll go ahead and tin those up and solder them in. And then that is going to feed our camera, negative, positive, and video in. So I'll go ahead and solder that in, and I'll show you what I did. All right, and we're back. So basic. So what we did here, get my pointer, trusty pointer, video in on the board. Let's see if you can see this here. Like I said, not a build video, but maybe it'll help. Video in, then there's a ground, and then the very next one over, video out, and then you got some 5 volts that we're not even going to use. So we are done. The only thing we have to do now is slap in the receiver. So that's going to go into 5 volts and, you know, S-bus in, which is right here. Ground 5 volts S-bus. Sorry, ground 5 volts S-bus. And then we're going to button this bitch up. Very simple. Very easy build. And then we're going to get a dry weight and all that stuff. And but this is basically the Monster, and this one and a couple of the other ones I've built have kind of been prototypes for what I want. It's like, what do I really like in a bird? You know, I like a simple build, very fast. Look at that. That is like so fucking fast to do. I like a fast build. I like it easy access. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass because this is permanently connected, but as you can see, it flexes very well like a hood, no problem, and then it will just bolt down, nut down onto here. So that's very easy. I like economical, but I like good, obviously. I hate clone frames, not because they clone other people. I mean, that kind of sucks too, but the fact of usually when you buy a clone, it's a piece of shit. And as soon as you crash, you fuck up the fiber and everything else. I like the stability of this frame and Mocha's, obviously. So that's really good. A canopy that is open source that we can just put up on Thingiverse and people can print out. Or you can buy, maybe print it in nylon so you can dye it red, white, and blue. I don't know. But if you want to use an all-in-one FCESC like the Cicada or something like that, this is actually a really cheap, stupid fast, amazing handling bird. So yeah, I think I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So Mocha and I are going to talk, see what we can put together. But let me go ahead and finish this up, and then we'll get a dry weight, and I'll be right back. Bam! And we're done. So I just threw these props on there. What are these things? Gem fans. I don't know if they're any good or not. I just threw them on there so we'd have something. But there you go. All buttoned up. Now, what we also did, I took where the canopy mounts to these backside bolts, I also put 3D printed antenna mounts on there as well. So there you go. That's what she looks like. And I'd probably put, to make it really sweet, I would make this like a red or whatever color, red, white, and blue antenna mount and stick that in there, you know, like heat shrink. So there you go, the Cyclops Skull American flag monster build. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the American Monster. What the hell? So let's see what the scale says. It tells no lies. See what this comes in at. All up, everything but the battery strap. And notice we have plenty of room for the battery strap. 261. I was shooting for 250, but that's okay. Those are kind of fat-ass props. Those are Bardwell props. We could probably knock that weight down with some better props, but that's okay. So, there you go. The nice thing about this build, let's do a prostate check, make sure everything's copacetic. So we're going to put our meter on continuity. Uh-oh, battery's low. Imagine that. And we're going to check to make sure we should have 1 beep at most. Good. And let's go ahead and plug in a battery. See if any smoke pops out. Perfect. All right, so that is it. Now, the nice thing about this build, now I know this wasn't a build video, but this is an exceptionally cheap build to do. Very cheap build. And it's going to hold up tough as nails. I mean, you don't have to hydro dip it like I did. Normally, guys, I would have braided and run the wires under the arms of this. But I actually, and I'll admit this on TV here. See that? That looks good. It's a nice dip. I fucked up. That's good. That's good. I fucked up somewhere. Anyway, there's a big fingerprint on one of these arms where I stuck my finger before the dip was dry. That was my fault. It was just a basic fuck up. So the next thing I would do with this, conformal coat. And we're going to go ahead and hit motor wires. You know, I'm not making this waterproof by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just kind of making it so if anything does lop across these connections, everything's okay. Okay, same thing here. Bam, done. Very cheap build. Believe it, you know, for a fucking high-end bird, this will kick the shit out of most of your buddies' birds. I guarantee it. We will do a pop test, flight test this weekend, or I might do the pop test tomorrow and a flight test this weekend. I already know how this is going to fly. I've already built them. Exceptionally light, exceptionally quick to build. Easy on the maintenance. You undo these two bolts and the hood pops up. Very, very cool. So this is similar to what I want to design with Mocha. These two combinations of a 30/30 hood or canopy with a solid body frame. So there you go. The American Monster. Bam. Cyclops version. Till next time, keep shining up, kids. Bye.
Bam, JJ! Hope you like fishing. Bam, JJ! Hey, JJ! Hope you like fishing.